Today we'll be talking about, the conditional cash transfer program run by the federal government. Now, the federal government has recently approved 4 billion naira for conditional cash transfers to vulnerable households in Nigeria, targeting at least 10 million displaced households. This initiative aims to support those most in need, particularly vulnerable homes affected by displacement, and is set to commence in February and continue through April. According to Professor Netanyahu Yelwada, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, the government is prioritizing women, especially widows, pregnant women, and those with disabilities who are particularly vulnerable. The program also includes interest-free loans for farmers in rural communities to boost food production and self-sufficiency. However, despite these efforts, the conditional cash transfer program has faced several challenges in the past, ranging from allegations of corruption, inadequate funding, and inefficient targeting of the actual beneficiaries. So at this point, we're asking, what should the government do differently to ensure the success of this program? How can the conditional cash transfer program be made more effective, efficient, and transparent? So we want to hear from you. Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your concerns about the conditional cash transfer. What do you think are the major challenges facing the program, and how can they be readdressed? What better ways can Nigerians benefit from the conditional cash transfer? How can it be made more transparent? How can they actually, the social register is being used to determine who the beneficiaries of this would be. So what ways can this social register be made more, efficient and more transparent and more accurate? Are there more accurate ways the government could use to determine who the beneficiaries of this conditional cash transfer should be? The phone lines are open now. Let's hear your thoughts. The numbers are displayed on your screen. Do well to call in or send us a WhatsApp message, and we're here to take them. While at it, please, when you're calling in, please turn down the volume of your TV set so you could talk to us directly through your phone. And if you're interested in hearing yourself, do well to catch our live stream on YouTube. The videos will be uploaded, and you can go there and, listen to yourself and re-enjoy the conversation again like you want to. But please, while you're calling in, turn down the volume of your TV set, and let's remain civil with our contributions and our thoughts. Now, back to the conditional cash transfer. Now, the program identifies eligible households through the National Social Register and is focusing on those living below the poverty line. How is the poverty line being determined? How are they using the National Social Register? Now, before we get to that, let's take this call. Our first caller for today. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. My name is Rabi Salisu, presently from Dutama, Katsina State, Northwest Nigeria.
Good morning, Rabi Salisu.
Good morning.
Good morning. All the way from Katsina. How is Katsina this morning? It's Monday. How is it like? Is it busy? Are people out and about? We lost the call. Please do well to call back. Let's fill the pulse of Katsina and know how busy it is, while we also get your thoughts on the show, Rabi. Now, one of the advantages of the conditional cash transfer programs that was being brought up was one for poverty reduction. Now, we know the cost of living, and Nigerians have called for the presidency to find a way to alleviate poverty. But is the conditional cash transfer one way to assist the poorest of the poor, or investment and building in the nation and investing in things that will benefit people long term so they can make money for themselves? Well, let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Lilian. My name is Shatima Yakudima, calling from Maiduguri.
Good morning, Shatima. It's good to have you on the show. How is Maiduguri?
Maiduguri is good. We thank God.
Good to know. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Conditional transfer.
Yes, sir.
Well, the policy is good, and it will aid Nigerians. Well, it is nice thinking. But the fear is there equity in that distribution? The exercise will go to the beneficiaries. That's the question that we ask ourselves. Because most of these things have been designed nicely, but the problem is sometimes people they troop in who are not deserved to be the beneficiaries, they are the ones that they will benefit. And the person that's supposed to benefit, he will not be considered. And sometimes even the people, lack of adequate awareness will not even allow some people to know what is happening. You see, the problem is, as you rightly say in your open remark, issue of corruption. Issue of corruption, that is the fundamental problem that will cripple any good exercise in Nigeria. So we have to catch our need to see the people that they deserve this thing, let them to be enjoyed. But I think sometimes there is smooth way of doing all these things, but it is selfish interest that is overtaking the whole matter. Because in Nigeria nowadays, every person, we are in 21st century. Government have the data of each and everyone.
Sure.
Even those in the rural area. Because I doubt much that if there is anybody doesn't have an account now in Nigeria, there are very, very few of their negligible number. So distribution will not be a problem. But the issue is, as I rightly say, corruption, selfish interest. So this is a very nice exercise. Please let our ruling class be far from that to put up their mind that they will benefit in that thing. Let the real beneficiaries to be benefit.
All right.
So that's my text.
All right, thank you very much, Shetima, for shining the light on the aspects of corruption and how the actual beneficiaries are to be determined. And that is the question every Nigerians are asking. How would you describe the poorest of the poor? Who were those that constituted and how were they selected? Now, I was able to gather a little bit of answers on that this morning to understand the selection process. Now, it starts off with community mobilization and sensitization, where they start engaging community leaders and members to inform them about the program, its objective and its benefits. And this engagement aims to secure community support and ensure transparency in the selection process. So if you're in any community that has, if in your communities, have you seen any people come around to mobilize and sensitize the leaders of the communities on the conditional cash transfer? Now, second, eligible households are identified through the National Social Register. We'll also get to how the National Social Register, operates in the long run. Now, this compiles data on poor and vulnerable households across Nigeria, and the National Social Register is developed with inputs from the State Social Register, and it involves community-based targeting to ensure accuracy. These are all the fine prints of it, but what are the implementation processes? What we seek to understand. Now, selected beneficiaries undergo orientation to understand the program's aim and the roles. If we have any selected beneficiary that is listening to us right now, or someone who has benefited from it, please do well to call in. It begins in February. So if you're a selected beneficiary by now, you must have gotten a certain level of orientation on it. So please, let's hear you if you know one who is benefited or you are one who has been selected to benefit. Let's hear your thoughts. But let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
My name is Musa Shehu. I'm calling from Kebbi State.
I didn't get your name, please.
Musa Shehu, I'm calling from Kebbi State.
Good morning, Mr. Musa. How is Kebbi this morning?
Morning. Kebbi is cool.
All right, it's good to know. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I want to make comment on the mode of selection. How we get the poorest among the poor? Actually, those that in the rural area and the villages, some almost 80 to 50% don't have account number. So this way is a way of reducing the poverty quite okay. But how do this cash transfer now reach those that are really poor? One, you talk of sensitization. That is a good way of sensitization. Now, which agency are you using that will now sensitize people so that they will be aware of this conditional cash transfer? Which agency are you using? Maybe we have 774 local governments in Nigeria. Maybe the agency you are using will not be able to cut across some of the local governments due to their environment. So you see, it will be difficult for those that are living within the poorest of the poor to be able to achieve or to be able to benefit from the cash transfer. So what I am seeing or looking at, we talked about corruption and we talked about self-interest, maybe the higher ranking people. We cannot be able to stop that. But let's just think, how do we minimize the issue that those that are poor will be able to benefit from this cash transfer? We can't stop corruption within an hour or within some decades. We can't. But the government should try and look for a modality that, even though from 100%, let's assume we'll be achieving 60% of the beneficiary, looking at the issue of corruption, the government can be able to do something. Looking at the agency that should be able to sensitize those people that were able to benefit. I think I am suggesting that through sensitization, the village heads or the traditional rulers should come across so that they know the poorest of the poor in our locality. That will a little bit help us so that some will benefit. In my local government, I saw where a woman selling this soya beans akara. She benefited from one cash transfer that was made of 100,000. If now you will go and meet this woman, you will see she proving in her petty trading soya bean selling. So it will be good. The sensitization should cut across the traditional rulers. If it reaches them, the poor of the poor will be able to hear of it. So I think that will help us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you so much for your contribution. I like how you confirmed that you have seen someone who benefited from one of the conditional cash or palliatives that have been given the sum of 100,000 and you saw improvement. And I love the point you raised up. I think Shetima raised the point as well, talking about most of these poorest of the poor don't even have access to bank accounts. So what is the criteria in selecting them and how would they be given this money? Is it cash at hand? They said conditional cash transfer. So we expect it's going to probably be through bank or cash at hand, whichever the case is. But how are they being enrolled in such a way that they will be getting this money, either by hand or at the bank? Would they be given cash or would it be put in their account? And for those that don't have account, how are they be able to identify? We actually do have people in Nigeria who are still off the grid, off social media. They don't have electricity to watch the news or know what is happening. What they have are their radios that they have little access to information whatsoever. How are these people being identified with? But still throwing more light into it now, one of the ways at which it's been identified, we spoke about sensitization, beneficiary identification, orientation, data capturing. Now, one of the ways the National Social Register works is through geographical targeting. The process begins with using of poverty maps to classify and rank local government areas within each state, and this classification helps in selecting the most disadvantaged local government areas for inclusion in the NSR. So it starts from local government areas. They try to trickle it down and sort it out to know which is the most disadvantaged local government area. Then it comes down to community-based targeting, where community members themselves participate actively in identifying households considered poor and vulnerable. So they can come to your committee and ask you, who is that house or how many households do you have that are really poor and vulnerable? Help us to identify it. We're talking about how the NSR operates, and because this is used for the conditional cash transfer to give money to the poorest of the poor. So let's know how this operates. But let's take this call before we continue. We have a WhatsApp message.
Hello?
Okay. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. I can hear you. Let's take this call, then we'll take the WhatsApp message. I can hear you. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, go ahead with your thoughts. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, my name is Yaulol Binda from... My name is Yaulol Binda, calling from Dusima in Katsina State.
Thank you so much for calling us all the way from Katsina. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, you see, actually, the issue of cash transfer is a very good thing because it has been done previously and we have seen the positive results, just like what somebody has just said. for a woman that was given 100,000, and we have seen the result. Yes, but the problem is that the people that are saddled with the responsibility of giving this cash transfer has to be, they must fear God, because the problem is on the sharing issue. You find that the money at times doesn't go to the real beneficiaries.
So do you know anyone who has benefited from any of the, not
so at least this time around, you say?
Go ahead.
Yeah, even here in Katsina State, there are many people that benefited from this, and they succeeded. So what we are saying here is that at least the people that are saddled with the responsibility of giving this cash transfer of money should fear God and give the money to those that are supposed to get the money. Because at times you find that just like giving a loan to people that will go to do farming, some get the money that doesn't even know how to farm, or they don't usually go to the farm, but they were the ones that got the money. So what I'm saying, this time around, let the money go to the real beneficiaries, just like what other people have said.
Thank you very much for that. Now he said,
that's my take.
Yes, thank you so much for your take. We do appreciate you all the way from Katsina. Well, he's saying that the money has to be sent to the real beneficiaries, and we're trying to analyze and understand how the real beneficiaries are sourced out to know if they're genuinely the real beneficiaries. And one of the means the government is using to determine this is the National Social Register. And let's understand how the social register comes about. Now, we started with geographical targeting, community-based targeting, where community members identify the poorest of the poor households in their community. These are how the names are added to the National Social Register now. And this participatory approach ensures that local insights and knowledge are utilized to adequately capture those who are the poorest of the poor. The next thing is proxy means test, where data collected from household undergoes a proxy means test. That's how they determine the poorest of the poor. By this proxy means test, they look at the age, gender, marital status of the household, the highest educational attainment in the household, employment and income sources, occupational employment of occupants in the household, primary and secondary income, housing characteristics, type and ownership of dwelling, materials used in constructing even the house itself, access to utilities such as water, electricity and sanitation facilities, access to ownership of properties, ownership of land and livestock. There are so many things that are used to determine the poorest of the poor. But let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Hello, if you can hear me, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, I'm Lewis. I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, thank you so much. All the way, where in Abuja are you calling from, please?
Yes, yes, it's a very good question. I'm on that those people that don't have account, they say there's a little way we can get it to them. That is, there's no place or there's no village that don't have mosques. There's no place that don't have church. So we can use that money to use to communicate to those people that don't have account. I think that will help a lot. And for those that have account, they see their own is already it's just easy for them. So that is my suggestion there.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your thoughts there. I understand your point of view, and which is the same thing every Nigerian that have called on the show this morning are pointing their light towards. Now, let's take a WhatsApp message this morning. We have our first message from Dr. Livingston Ekanem in Jos. He says, "Good morning, Daybreak. Inasmuch as every effort made to ameliorate the sufferings of Nigerians must be applauded, I am of the opinion that if the government is sincere about reduction of poverty, the question should border around the causes of poverty. For instance, PMS subsidy removal, how has it reduced or increased subsidy? If root causes are targeted, the effect would be far-reaching and long-lasting. I don't have faith in any palliative offer by the government, as it is usually ruined by corruption." And it is so sad that, the trust Nigerians have in government officials have eroded so bad that we all know that when such things come up, it's been ruined by corruption. Even the social register looking at, if I come and pay the people in my local government 10,000 to put my name in the poorest of the poor so I can benefit of it, they will take it and do it. So the corruption goes across it goes across, from the people at the top to the people at the bottom. Corruption finds a way to play a role there one way or another when it comes to such palliatives. We saw what happened during lockdown, where people really invaded warehouses, even down to private owned warehouses, because they knew that there was some certain level of corruption going on. But let's take another WhatsApp message. The message is from Usman Garba. He said, "Good morning, Daybreak. I am Usman Garba from Yola. The issue of cash transfer as initiated by the federal government will go a long way if it reached the target by ameliorating the problems of the beneficiaries. But the program needs highly honest people to be in charge of the disbursement, and we totally agree with that. The level of corruption is alarming, and the honesty of people to handle this project is very effective. But like Dr. Livingstone Ekanem said, if the root causes of poverty is not addressed in Nigeria, this is going nowhere." But let's take the call. We have, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning. Can you hear me? Yes, good morning. I didn't get your name, please.
Suleiman Mamalau from Jalingo, Taraba State.
Good morning, Suleiman. Go ahead with your thoughts. It's good to have you this morning.
In the issue of conditional cash transfer, I am a beneficiary 3 to 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. So how was the selection process like? How did they select you?
The selection was the desk officer of the local government came to my community. They ordered the ward head, the village head, business people. We were told to identify the less privileged people.
Okay.
That was 3 to 4 years ago.
Okay. So how much were you paid and how long were you paid the money for? Oh. Do we still have our caller on the line? Ooh. It looks like we've lost that caller this morning. I really want to keep hearing what it is he has to say. We really wanted someone who has benefited from this, in the past to tell us how it works. But he confirmed everything I said here on community engagement and community identification process, where community members are asked to select the poorest of the poor by your local leaders and your local government chairman. And when this is done, the names are submitted. Then they will now be vetted based on the properties they have, ownership of land they have, highest educational qualification, job and employment status, salary, income into the family. They have lots of criteria. So you might be selected by your community, but you might not benefit if you don't pass this criteria of selection, down to owners of livestock and your properties. If your properties and livestock put together can sustain you, they will take your name off it. But if it can't sustain you, you will now be added to the beneficiaries to be given the specific amount needed through the month. Please do well to call back. We'd really love to hear more about the process and how it operates and how you benefited, how long you benefited from it, how many people benefited from it, was it sustained, did you get the actual amount the government spoke about, how was the process, was it a hassle to get the money or it was transferred to your phone, were you given cash at hand or it was transferred to your account? These are all Nigerians want to hear success stories so that, okay, this is really happening. Even if there's a certain level of corruption involved, but want to know that, okay, at least people benefited and we know that more people could benefit from it. Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Go ahead.
My name is Musa.
All right,
Am
Musa.
I talking to Trust TV?
Yes, this is Trust TV. Musa, where are you calling from?
I am calling from Kaduna, precisely Java local government.
All right, Musa, go ahead with your thoughts.
I benefited from this cash transfer.
What year?
Last year, I think around August.
Okay, how much were you paid and what was the selection process like?
5,000 naira.
Okay, how?
Actually, the selection process started 3 years back.
Okay.
Come again.
How was the selection process? Like, how did they identify you as the poorest of the poor to give you 25,000 naira?
Our village chief send his messenger to go around and say, those of us who are in need of that support should meet at a particular place. And they came and then took our names, collected our phone numbers. In fact, we forgot about it. In fact, some of us were already saying, it's a sham. But then, early last year, we were called, a list came out and they said they have opened an account for us in Access Bank, that we should go with our passports and international ID card. So when we went, those of us who don't have a
national ID,
BVN, those of us who don't have BVN, where the bank opened an account for. In fact, as of my own group, I know that our own set we were many, and almost half of us did not have a BVN because we don't have an account number. So we had to go. They opened the account, and then actually some of us benefited for 3 months.
Okay.
Like myself, I got the second month because I came late. So, and I still promise that I will still get the balance. But then I got the last one I got it in August. August ending, as I said. And I'm still awaiting the other two. But the people that were in our list, actually, they got all the 3 months.
Okay. Okay, but were there people who were below the poverty line, like the poorest of the poor in the community? Were they there on that list?
Exactly what I'm saying, that majority, over 75%, did not even have an account in the first place to even think of. So it goes to tell you that in fact, they were poor. In fact, I know that many of them who got it was like a very big surprise. Like some of them, we had to pay their transport, which is around 1,000 naira to the bank, where the bank is.
Wow. Tell us your name again and where you're calling from.
I said I'm Musa from Java local government in Kaduna State.
Musa from Java, thank you very much for giving us this detailed update on it. Please, anytime we have a conversation like this, we'd really love you to call in and give us more information. And if there are more beneficiaries to it over time, we'd love to get more information on that. Thank you very much for clarifying the questions we've had and hearing it from the horse's mouth directly for those who have benefited from previous programs done like this. Thank you for taking your time out to call in on the show. Quick question. Do we still have Musa on the line? All right, Musa is gone, but thank you so much for calling in for this. Well, I was just informed that that's our last caller for this morning. What a way to wrap up the phone-in segment this morning, where we got someone who has actually benefited to call in on the show and tell us how it operates, how it worked, and how we benefited from it. So this answers the questions to those who are saying that they don't have accounts. Accounts were being created for them. So it all boils down to the honesty of the community leaders. If they come to a committee and say, okay, we need the poorest of the poor, please identify them and send them to us. Your community should be held accountable if you don't benefit from it, because it is their responsibility to point you out or point whoever out or do the identification process and get the registration process ongoing. It is in their hands. And we know that governance has its effect from the community level upwards. So let us watch and see. This starts in February through April. Let's see how many people will benefit from it, and we're going to follow it up and see how it's going to run and work and know how the beneficiaries benefited from it, how the process worked, more of it, and the honesty and transparency in it. But having said that, we've come to the end of this segment of Daybreak.